Tonight, for the first time ever, history was made at WrestleMania when we had the Tag Team Championships on the line in the main event of the show. The second time that we have ever had a tag team match in the main event of WrestleMania, but the first time that the championships have ever been defended. And I remember a period of time not too long ago where the tag team division, the tag team titles, everything was dead in this company, on the path to nowhere. And over the last several months with this Bloodline story, it just so happened that all of a sudden the tag team titles felt important again. You had the titles that were unified last year. The Usos were on this incredible run, right? Longest reigning tag team champions of all time, over 600 days. And it all culminated tonight. What was going to go on last? What was going to headline the show here at WrestleMania? We had Kevin Owens, a man who last year at WrestleMania, who could have ever predicted, would not only be in a WrestleMania main event, but would be wrestling Stone Cold Steve Austin in the main event of WrestleMania. Well, that happened last year. Well, the only thing less likely than Kevin Owens headlining a WrestleMania was Kevin Owens headlining two WrestleManias back to back, but that's exactly what happened this year. You look at someone like SAMI ZAYN. A year ago at WrestleMania, SAMI ZAYN was beaten in a mousetrap by Johnny Knoxville. Look at the year that this man has had. Look at the year that SAMI ZAYN has had in this Bloodline story and where it has led him, and all the people who were upset and were crying last month or in February, I guess, about the fact that, well, you know, Sami lost to Roman Reigns, and how are you going to not have Sami against Roman at WrestleMania? How are you not going to have Sami win the Undisputed Championship? And as I said at the time, I said the story for Sami is going to pay off okay. He's going to be okay. He is still a very important part of this Bloodline story. Tonight was the culmination of that. It was all building to this moment. KO and Sami, first time ever in their WWE careers, have never been tag team champions before. They reunite. They realize that we can't do shit on our own, but together we can try to take down the Bloodline. Tonight, the Bloodline was wounded in the main event because the Usos are no longer tag team champions. Kevin Owens and SAMI ZAYN, for the very first time, are tag team champions in WWE. They billed it as the biggest tag team championship match in the history of the company. What did I talk about on the Smackdown stream just the other night? Hyperbole, right? This company is big on hyperbole. Everything is the best. Everything is the greatest. This is one of those situations where it's true. I cannot think of a bigger tag team championship match that this company has ever done, especially going on last at WrestleMania. That's what we got tonight. Those four guys went out there and they delivered. They killed it in the main event tonight. But they were not the only ones. Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley, they could just as easily have gone on last tonight. Triple H made the decision that it was going to be the tag team title match. He made the correct decision. That was the right match to headline night one of WrestleMania. No questions asked, right? A lot of people felt the same way. Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley, I'm sure, were not very happy about that. Charlotte Flair, I'm sure, fully expected to go out there tonight and get the main event match that she was denied last year when Steve Austin decided that he wanted to come back. And if you have the choice to headline WrestleMania with Stone Cold's first match in 19 years or Charlotte Flair against Ronda Rousey, what are you going to headline with? So she was denied last year. She got denied again this year. The difference is last year, her and Ronda had a terrible match at WrestleMania. Tonight, Charlotte and Rhea Ripley went out there and they had, up to that point, the best match on the entire show. They went out there and they killed it. We had two main event level, main event quality matches on this pay-per-view tonight. Rhea Ripley is the brand new SmackDown Women's Champion. She bests Charlotte Flair in a match where I don't see how anybody can watch what those two ladies did tonight and can be disappointed. And it was never a matter of can they or can they not have a good match. We knew they could have a good match. They had a great match 3 years ago in front of no fans at the Performance Center. The build to this match was completely lackluster. The build to both women's titles matches this year has been shit. But these two women went out there tonight and they tore it up. And Rhea Ripley is the new SmackDown Women's Champion. The only other story in this company that has been going on for as long as the Bloodline story, the only other story in this company as good as the Bloodline story has been the stuff with Rey and Dominik Mysterio. Tonight it was father against son for only the second time in WrestleMania history. I'll let you figure out what the first time was. They went out there tonight. The entrances, even before the bell rang and before these two got in the ring together, I was already sold on this match. From start to finish, just an incredible spectacle. From the entrances to the match itself, celebration at the end of the match. Rey Mysterio beats the crap out of his son. What's not to like? We got a wholesome moment at the end of that match tonight, but not the end of the storyline. That storyline is going to continue on. But all of these key stories paid off in a big way tonight. Now the only question left is, can the ultimate story pay off tomorrow night during night 2 with Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes? We're going to have to wait to find out about that one. We'll have to find out tomorrow. But these were the highlights of night 1 of WrestleMania, which right now, I will tell you that if night 2 can come anywhere close to the night that we got tonight, this will go down as one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time. WrestleMania is not over yet. This is only night 1, so we can't judge it fully. But if tomorrow night can come anywhere close, this will be an all-timer as far as WrestleManias go. This was an excellent show from top to bottom. WWE went out there tonight. This is supposed to be their biggest show of the year. It felt like their biggest show of the year. And pretty much everything that I would have hoped to deliver on this show, all the big things, they delivered. Not every segment was a home run, but the stuff that had to be was. And when this show was over, it left me wondering, I don't know how they're going to top themselves tomorrow night. You know, can night 2 be better than night 1? It's going to be tough. But if so, then we're in for a treat for night 2, because night 1 was fantastic. This is your WrestleMania 39 Night 1 review here on the Solomonster Sounds Off channel. I am the Solomonster. Thank you so very much for choosing me for your WrestleMania coverage here tonight, or I should say early this morning here. It feels like an AEW pay-per-view, given that it's already almost 12:30 in the morning. But we'll try to get through this as quickly as we can. Hit that subscribe button if you are new here, so when new content goes up, you will be alerted about that. Also, do me a favor if you would, hit that thumbs up, because it does help the video out. As far as the visibility is concerned, we do a little thing here on these streams later on called Be the Booker. If you don't know what that is, the goal tonight is 850 likes. If we can hit 850 on the thumbs up, we'll do Be the Booker later. So that's the goal. That's up to you guys. Let's see if you guys can get us across the finish line. Super chats are open. You are going to see them popping up on your screen. I'm going to be hanging out later on with you and reading through your super chats. So if you have comments, questions about tonight's show, what did you think of night 1 of WrestleMania? Did you like it as much as I did? It's going to be a very interesting Twitter poll later on. I got the poll up on Twitter at Solomonster. You can go vote. Last I checked, we already had a lot of votes in, and it's a pretty high total. It might actually end up being a record number for WrestleMania. So you can go vote in the poll. We'll check out the results later on. Channel memberships are open. Hey, Boots. My God. Boots dropped 20 gifted memberships on 20 random individuals here on this channel. So, Boots, I salute you, good sir. You are awesome. Now, tomorrow, Sunday, just so you know, before we get into this here, it's another busy day. We got 2 shows. We have Sound Off episode 802. That's going to be hitting your audio feed as it does every Sunday. I'm going to be talking the WWE Hall of Fame. I'm going to be talking NXT Stand and Deliver. Hopefully, I'll be talking about Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor, if I can finish the show in time. John Moxley's comments in response to the whole CM Punk thing. So we'll get into all that. And then tomorrow night, of course, right back here live for night 2 of WrestleMania. So it's going to be fun. I thought WWE this year did an excellent job with the stage setup for WrestleMania. This year's WrestleMania theme was WrestleMania Goes Hollywood, since they were back in, well, technically they're in Inglewood, but basically they're in Los Angeles. And I love what they did. Beautiful stage. They have the mock movie posters up on either side with the different wrestling personalities on it. Long ramp. Just a really fantastic job. I would say probably the second best, in my opinion, the second best stage they've ever done. Second only to Orlando for WrestleMania 33. They had Very interesting. They had TurboTax was one of their sponsors, and they had for some of the matches tonight, you saw the TurboTax logo on the ring posts, on the ring apron, and on the LED barricades. So it switched between TurboTax and Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I don't know if there were any other sponsors there, but look, it's smart. WCW used to have Slim Jim and Snickers logos on their ring mats. So frankly, I'm surprised it took Vince this long to start doing this kind of thing. But it was noticeable that they were doing that tonight. They got Kevin Hart to do the cold open video intro for the show. We kicked off night one with The Miz. Not a great start to WrestleMania. But we started with The Miz. Already in the ring with Snoop Dogg. Miz ran down all of his accomplishments. His accomplishments, not Snoop Dogg. All of the Marine movies that he starred in that I haven't watched and will never watch. He hyped the women's title match later on, the tag team title match later on in the show. And then it was time to kick things off for real this time with John Cena back in the same spot that he was in 19 years ago at WrestleMania 20, challenging for the United States Championship. Last time it was against The Big Show. This time it was against Austin Theory. So some things never change. John Cena challenging for the U.S. title. In fact, the last time, I wasn't sure, I was thinking about this. The last time that we saw John Cena in a singles match that was promoted in advance and hyped up in advance was actually for the U.S. title. He won the United States Championship. It was from Rusev back in 2015 at WrestleMania 31. So after Theory made his way down the long ramp to the ring, Michael Cole plugged the fact that John Cena has granted more Make-A-Wishes, over 600, than anybody else in the history of the organization. And they showed a video promoting that. Tonight, he granted Austin Theory's wish here at WrestleMania. Cena came out. He was greeted by a group of Make-A-Wish kids that they had on stage. And he high-fived each one of them before running down the ramp to the ring. I thought that was very cool. It was a very nice thing. It was a very nice entrance, very nice intro here for John Cena. Cena basically just sold. For most of this match, John Cena was just selling. He was on the receiving end of Austin Theory's offense, and he sold, and he laid there, and he sold some more, and finally he made a comeback, and Cena hit the five-knuckle shuffle. It was an attitude adjustment attempt. Theory grabbed the top rope. He held on, pushed himself backwards, and his feet went into the referee. So we got a referee bump here in the opening match of the show, which is not ideal, but that's what they did. Cena got the STF applied. Theory tapped out. Chad Patton was still down. He did not see it. Theory delivered a low blow. And then he gave John Cena the A-Town Down finish. And he pinned John Cena to retain the United States Championship here at WrestleMania. Let me just say this. Austin Theory needed this win. If you saw the face-to-face promo a few weeks ago on Raw, John Cena filleted him. He filleted, actually, gotta be careful here. I didn't say filleted. He filleted him, he tarred him, he feathered him, he roasted this man in the middle of the ring. You have no brains, you have no balls, you have no heart, you can't get the job done, you don't belong, all of these things that he said about him. And Theory tried to come back at him, but for the most part, he just stood there and took it. So the goal tonight was for Austin Theory to show that he could prove Cena wrong. He could hang and he can beat John Cena at WrestleMania. So it was very important for him to come in here and get a win. By hook or crook, he had to win this match. After that promo, if Theory went into this match tonight and lost, that would have been awful. That would have been terrible. Almost as bad as what they did to him with the Money in the Bank stuff all those months ago. Now, even if it did take a nut shot for him to get the job done, he got the job done. And he pinned John Cena. He saw an opening. He took advantage of that opening. That is what heels do. That is what heels do. There were so many people when I posted one tweet about this. about this match and how Theory needed this win and he got that much needed win. And my God, I've never been attacked for one tweet about a particular match on a pay-per-view like I have this John Cena Austin Theory match here. There are a lot of very stupid people on my timeline who do not understand professional wrestling. There are times where I would say, God, I wish this guy would have won straight up. It kind of made him look weak. He had to cheat or he had to take a shortcut or what have you. It would have been better if he just would have beaten the guy clean, right? In a perfect world, sure, that would be the case in every single match. In WWE, a lot of times with the heels, this is what heels do, right? And that's kind of how people have been conditioned to think, that if you're a heel, you are going to cheat. You're going to cheat to win. I felt that way about Stand and Deliver, the main event earlier today. We had Braun Breaker defending the NXT Championship against Carmelo Hayes. And we got a ref bump in that match. And Braun got the visual pin on Carmelo Hayes. And I didn't feel like that was necessary. I wasn't really a fan of that. One of the differences between that match and this match, Austin Theory took basically 90% of this match. Like I said, John Cena, for the majority of this match, sold for Austin Theory. So it wasn't a situation where it was, it was an even match, 50-50, or, Cena just beat him up the entire time, and then he gave him a nut shot, and Theory won. Theory largely dominated this match, especially in the early part of the match. Cena made a quick comeback at the end, and then Theory cut him off with the nut shot, and he hit his finisher, and he pinned him. But the point is, this was the biggest win of Austin Theory's career, by far, the biggest win of his entire career. Here's my issue with it, because I think some people heard what I said, and they thought that I thought the match was excellent. I didn't. My issue with the match is that it was average at best. That's it. The match was average at best. This was as basic as you can get. I have to assume that because John Cena is literally in the middle right now of filming a movie. It's not even like he has a movie coming up. I'm sure he does, but he is in the middle right now of filming another movie, which is one of the reasons why we haven't seen him on Raw in the last few weeks. So either he can't or he won't do more than the bare minimum because he doesn't want to get hurt. He's not wrestling on a regular basis anymore. He's 45 years old or whatever he is. He's making movies. That's his bread and butter now. Other people obviously depend on him. If you're filming a movie, you get hurt, right? That sucks. That would be my guess, because Cena really didn't do anything in this match. He's not hurt. Still keeps himself in good shape. He's noticeably smaller than he used to be, but that's what happens when you get old. You get older, you get smaller, unless you're Vince McMahon. He seemed to get bigger as he got older. But that would be my guess. Cena was noticeably holding back on doing anything beyond the bare minimum. It's John Cena. He's a big enough name. We don't see him enough, to where when he does show up, even if he does the bare minimum, people are going to go nuts for him. When Cena came back, I forgot how long ago it was, he was doing some house shows. And you saw a noticeable uptick in business. Now, I didn't see any of those matches. My guess would be Cena was doing the bare minimum there too. But he spiked the numbers. Ticket sales went up. Shows up on TV. Ratings go up. So just him being on the show is a big enough attraction for them. If it was anybody else, this would have been a television match on a Monday night, and not a very good one. So I actually was not a big fan of the match. But the way they did the finish didn't bother me as much as it seems to have bothered other people. My advice to those people is don't have a cow. It's not that deep. Theory's going to be fine. We had the WrestleMania men's showcase match. We're having two of them this weekend. The ladies' one is going to be tomorrow night. Tonight we had the men's showcase match. Fatal 4-way with the Street Profits, Viking Raiders, Alpha Academy, Braun Strowman, and Ricochet. Titus O'Neil did commentary for this match. I'm not sure why. I like Titus. Got no problem with Titus. I didn't catch the reason why he was on the commentary for this match. Thankfully, he didn't slip and fall on his way to the ring. Given how long that ramp was, he would still be rolling down the ramp as we speak. This was incredible stuff. It really was. This was incredible stuff from all 8 of these men. Chad Gable. I got to shout out Chad Gable. Now, I am a big Chad Gable guy. I think, I'm a big fan of his work, and I'm glad that he's getting a lot of television time, even though he loses most of the time. But Chad Gable in this match hit the most impressive chaos theory that I have ever seen him pull off. He hit the rolling German out of the corner to Braun Strowman. So we saw Chad Gable deadlifting Braun Strowman up into the air and over for a German suplex. This was fucking awesome. Chad Gable is fucking awesome. Let me just say that. That was followed by a top rope Vader salt by Ivar, who crashed and burned. Braun Strowman saw Ivar, and Braun Strowman said, well, if he's going to fly, I can fly too. And so Braun Strowman at that point decided to go to the top rope, and he delivered a splash of his own off the top rope and down onto Ivar. Would have had the match won too, but everybody slid into the ring at the same time to break up the pin. So I assume that is the spot that Strowman must have been referring to. He did a training video, Ricochet, the other day. They put it up on their YouTube channel, and Ricochet wanted to tell people in the video what the move was that they were, planning or some big spot Braun was going to do. Braun said, no, I don't want to tell anybody. I want it to be a surprise. So I guess that was the surprise here tonight. Then we got a Tower of Doom spot. Gable and Eric were on Otis and Ivar's shoulders, and they had Montez Ford up for a delayed vertical suplex. They held him up there long enough for Ricochet to come off the top and splash him to the mat. Everybody went down. Then it was time. Now, if you are new to the streams, perhaps you are unaware of this. It is a weekly tradition when we see Braun Strowman on these shows. Typically, when Braun Strowman makes his way outside the ring, he gets himself all psyched up and sets up for the Strowman Express. Well, tonight we got a WrestleMania-sized edition of the Strowman Express. And Braun, there he is, there's Braun the Clown. Braun goes outside the ring. He bulldozed Gable. He bulldozed Eric. He bulldozed Otis. Then he went around for a second time. Down goes Ivar. Down goes Gable. But then Angelo Dawkins pounced the shit out of Braun Strowman, who did not see him, around the ring post. And down went Braun. While Dawkins was celebrating, Ricochet hit a shooting star press off the ropes. Down onto Dawkins and Eric on the floor. He threw Dawkins back in the ring. He went up top to hit the shooting star to Dawkins in the ring. This time, though, Angelo got the knees up. Montez Ford came off the top for the frog splash right across Ricochet's back into Dawkins' knees, because he was still, when Dawkins put his knees up, he kept Ricochet in that same position. And so when Montez came down, it just drove him back into Dawkins' knees again. Angelo Dawkins pins Ricochet to win it for the Street Profits. This match was a blast to watch. I had a lot of fun watching this match. These 8 men went out there and they made the most of the spot that they were given. When this was first announced, this just felt like a throwaway match on WrestleMania. They never even announced that there was anything on the line in this match. They never said that the winners would get a tag team championship match at a later date. They never said anything like that. It would make sense that they would be in line for a tag team title match, but that's just us assuming, right? They never announced that. But they went out there and they said, shit, if this is our spot here on the WrestleMania card, we're going to go out there and we're going to steal the show. And when this night was over, this was not the best match on the show, but this was excellent. So kudos to all involved. We'll see what happens with the Street Profits now, but I don't see any reason why they wouldn't be in line for a tag team title match coming up soon. So congrats to Braun the Clown. Look at this. You know what? In honor of tonight, because he did go out there and have a very good match, I will boot, there he goes. I will boot the clown off the screen. I will boot him away. There you go. I'm just checking to see where we... checking your super chats. Super chat check. We're singing... You know what? It's funny. We're singing Seth Rollins' song because that's the match that's coming up next here on the show. Shout out to everybody, by the way, who is joining us here for the WrestleMania stream. I love you all. Thank you so very much. And we are already getting very close to our likes goal for tonight. So, again, hit that thumbs up. And I very much appreciate that. We do have the birthday boy. He was up next. It was Logan Paul going one-on-one with Seth Rollins. Logan was harnessed into a zip line. And he told the, I guess, production people, take me up. So they basically airlifted him up into the air. And he ziplined over the crowd one-handed and landed on the ramp. Not quite Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 12. What did Vince McMahon say on that show? He was 100 feet.
It's the amazing Gunther.
Gunther!
Jerry Lawler loves Gunther, the Magnificent. All hail Gunther.
Hey, Ayub, thank you for the $50 Gunther super chat. If you're wondering what a Gunther is, that is what that is how Jerry Lawler pronounced his name once on Monday Night Raw on Raw 30. He thought that Gunther was Gunther. And so a meme was born here on this channel. But Ayub, thank you for the $50, man. Appreciate that.
With a tear in my eye.
Andrew, thank you for the 1992 Ric Flair Royal Rumble super chat. So yeah, he wasn't 100 feet up in the air, but, you know, nice little entrance for Logan Paul, nothing overly spectacular. They had somebody in a Prime Energy mascot costume coming out to the ring with Logan Paul. He came down the ramp, he joined Logan, came down to the ring with Logan. Prime, for those who don't know, is Logan Paul's energy drink, which he carries around everywhere he goes. So the mascot stood outside the ring for the match, cheering him on. You knew that if the mascot was out there, it was going to be danger for the mascot. You knew that by the end of this match, we would have a dead mascot. And they did not disappoint. For Seth's entrance, they had an orchestra conductor on stage conducting. He had the sticks, and he was conducting as they played over the PA system the sound that the fans make when they are singing and humming along to Seth Rollins' theme song. I thought this was lame. Like, what was this? I mean, it would be different if they had an actual orchestra out there. They just had the guy standing there going like this, and they played, you know, it wasn't even like he was directing the crowd. They were just playing over the PA system. People going, oh, I'm like, that's it? See, I remember that WrestleMania when he came out. What was it, like the wolf's eyes? I think it was like a Game of Thrones type entrance of some kind. I think that was WrestleMania 34. See, that was a cool entrance. Anyway, it was better when they finally started playing Seth's theme because then the crowd was actually singing along. So we got a Logan lariat early in the match, the buckshot. And then he caught Rollins with a right-hand shot with those titanium knuckles of his. Because he's got the titanium screw in his hand. Again, in the build-up to this match, he knocked out Seth on television twice. That was the story going into this match. There was another spot where Logan did a standing vertical leap onto the top rope and a picture-perfect moonsault. That missed. Rollins followed with 3 straight suicide dives. And then a curb stop to Logan's hand on the ring steps. In the ring, they traded cradles and pin attempts until Logan whacked him with the right hand, and down goes Rollins. Seth Rollins was once again knocked out cold. Logan took a little too long to cover him. Seth kicked out at the very last second. Short time later, the mascot dragged Logan out of the ring to safety. So Seth now is very pissed off, right? He's going over to the mascot, grabs the mascot, starts to pull the head a little bit. He didn't rip the head completely off, but he pulled it back enough to reveal who was under the costume. I thought it was going to be Jake Paul. Look at Richie Rich over here dropping all this money on me. Hey, I just want you to know. Oh my God, look at this. Rock. I don't mean The Rock, A-Rock. You rock. And I just wanted you to know that. Oh my goodness. Fahad just dropped a $120 super chat. Holy shit. Fahad, what's going on, man? What time is it where you are? I think Fahad is in Saudi Arabia. What time is it where you are? It's got to be, what, 7 in the morning? Fahad, thank you. Thank you very much. He pulls the mascot head back to reveal KSI. You don't know who KSI is? He's a big YouTuber. He's got like 20 million subs on YouTube. I'm only a little bit behind him. Big YouTuber. He also happens to be Logan's business partner on that Prime energy drink. So it kind of makes sense that he would be dressed in the mascot costume. I mean, look, that's somebody who is trying to, you know, he's trying to give back here into his investment. Prime energy is his thing, so he doesn't mind dressing up in the costume. He and Logan got Seth sprawled out across the, oh boy, across the Spanish announce table. I think it was a Spanish announce table. Logan went up top to set up for the big diving elbow while KSI was posing. He was posing over Seth's body. I actually like this spot a lot. So Seth is laying there. KSI, who is still in this stupid costume, is basically standing over him. He's got his phone in his hand and he's posing and he's trying to take selfies. Or I think he's trying to take maybe a selfie video with his phone. You can see it coming from a mile away, right? You knew exactly where this was going. And sure enough, Seth grabs KSI, drags him onto the desk. He does like this little hop onto the announce desk right at the moment that Logan Paul comes flying off the top, and he delivered the elbow to his business partner in costume through the table. That got a laugh out of me. I will tell you that I enjoyed that spot. So in the ring, Seth hit the pedigree, went for the pin. Logan kicked out. Logan kicked out of Triple H's finish. Logan then stuffed a curb stomp attempt. He got Rollins on his shoulders and he hit the GTS. Laid him out with the go to sleep. Logan went up top. He hit a frog splash, covered Rollins. Seth kicked out. Logan tried to go coast to coast from the top rope. Seth, though, caught him with a super kick and delivered the curb stomp for the win. There was actually a very cool coast-to-coast spot on the NXT show earlier today that Grayson Waller pulled off in his unsanctioned match with Johnny Gargano. I will talk more about that show on the podcast tomorrow. But again, Rollins hits the curb stomp and gets the win. This was an excellent match. This was another in a string of excellent matches that Logan Paul has been a part of. Rollins had to win this because Seth Rollins has been punched in the face and knocked out twice on television in the lead up to this match. So Seth had to get his revenge at some point. This was the time for him to get it. So to me, the outcome of this match, that coupled with Logan Paul's contract status, which I'll talk about here in just a second, made this a no-brainer as far as the outcome of this match. Well, let's just talk about it now. Logan spoke to Ariel Helwani. Ariel Helwani did a whole bunch of interviews this weekend with different WWE talents. He sat down for 20 minutes with Logan Paul, and in the interview with Logan, Logan said that today, April 1st, his birthday, was the final day of the contract that he signed. It was a multi-event deal that he signed last summer with WWE, and this is it. His contract is up. They have not yet reached an agreement on a new contract. He wants to stay. He said he sees no reason why he wouldn't, but it just hasn't happened yet. WWE would be crazy not to sign him to a new deal. Even if he only signs these year-to-year contracts, he has more than lived up to what they have expected out of him. And then some. How many people who have been wrestling for 1 year, and even in that 1 year, he's had, 4 matches? Right? 3 singles matches, I think, a tag match and a Royal Rumble. That's it. And you see the performances that he's put on. You see how he moves around in the ring. He doesn't look tentative, like he's unsure of himself. I mean, there are wrestlers who have gone to wrestling school who have been doing this for 5 years who go on television and they look like they don't know what the fuck they're doing. So clearly, he's got a couple of athletic bones in his body. He feels comfortable in the ring. And he has a special talent that not just anybody has. He went in there against the champion. He went in there with Roman Reigns in Saudi Arabia, and they had, probably a 4-star, 4.5-star match in his first year. So I think WWE would be nuts not to want to bring him back to do more. This was just a really, really fun match. I got a kick out of the mascot spot. And after the match, KSI was still laying there dead in costume in the rubble of the announce desk. And Logan went over to go check on him, make sure he still had a pulse, and make sure he was alive. But again, I thought it would be Jake Paul. I thought the reveal was going to be Jake Paul in the not that I have any love for. I don't have any love really for either one of these guys, but KSI was the guy. I got a lot of messages. Who's KSI? People don't know who KSI is. You don't need to know who KSI is. He was the silly guy in the costume who got his ass kicked. That's all that matters. We had Becky Lynch, Lita, and Trish Stratus against Damage Control. Hey, Lonnie Jones just became a channel member. We got a lot of new channel members tonight. You are now part of our Green World Order. You see all those green names in the live chat with the little badges next to their name? Those are our channel members. So welcome aboard, Lonnie Jones. Bearwolf says we are only 85 away from 1,000 likes. That's tremendous. Let's work on that. So we had Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky out for this next trios match. They were trying to go for something special here. They were trying to have a big, epic WrestleMania match. I'm sure that was their goal in coming out here. It didn't work. It wasn't a bad match, but it just, it didn't work. It doesn't help that Damage Control is largely a dead group. It is largely a dead faction. And there really just hasn't been anything terribly exciting about this feud. But they went out there and they tried to put something together that people would be happy with. And again, I thought it was perfectly acceptable. But one of the weaker matches on the show. Becky, Trish, and Lita got the Sin City style effects in black and white for their entrance when they came out, which I thought was kind of cool. Lita hit a terrible looking Poetry in Motion. I think it was Trish who was down on all fours, and Lita, propelled herself off of her back. It was awful. Becky hit a diving leg drop on Dakota Kai from the middle rope for a 2 count, then applied a disarm her that got broken up. Trish hit her Stratisfaction Bulldog, and Bayley gave Trish a belly to Bayley suplex. This led to Io Sky hitting the moonsault off the top rope to the floor, wiping everybody out. Everyone got in the ring. Everybody in the ring was brawling. Lita gave Sky a twist of fate. Trish gave Dakota a chick kick. Lita hit a moonsault on both Dakota and Io at the same time. Bayley tried to give Becky a belly to Bayley from the middle rope. Becky turned it into a manhandle slam. And Becky Lynch pins Bayley to win the match for the babyfaces. This was fine. But nothing more than that. No hint of a Trish Stratus heel turn either. There's been some talk about the possibility that Trish Stratus might go heel. She might be sticking around for a program with Becky Lynch. I could see that being a SummerSlam match if that's the case. But if it's happening, there's always TV, I guess, because there was no hint of that whatsoever tonight. And Lita, little trivia note, Lita picks up her first WrestleMania win of her career. This was only her second WrestleMania match. The only other WrestleMania match she ever had was over 20 years ago, WrestleMania 18. She was in a triple threat match. She lost that night. This was her very first WrestleMania win. A lot of WrestleMania appearances, right? 2 of the more memorable ones, TLC 2 when she did that run-in the ladder match, and WrestleMania 22, she was ringside with Edge for his hardcore match with Mick Foley. So plenty of appearances at WrestleMania, not very many matches. In fact, Lita was the one they brought in WrestleMania 32 when they ditched the Divas belt and they resurrected the Women's Championship. They had Lita in the ring to show off the new title. For only the second time, twice, in WrestleMania history, we had father and son in the ring, one-on-one with each other. First, it was Vince McMahon against Shane McMahon WrestleMania 17. Here it was Rey Mysterio against his son Dominik. Bad Bunny made an appearance. He hopped onto the screen. He didn't get a full entrance or anything. They just kind of came back from an ad break, and he was there at ringside. He did commentary with the Spanish announcers. This turned out to be the Cinnamon Toast Crunch match. Remember we heard a few months ago one of the WWE VPs said that they were going to have more sponsorship integrations at WrestleMania. And again, we saw that on the ring posts and the barricade and all that. But he said something about how they had something planned similar to what they did with Mountain Dew.
Look at Richie Rich over here
back
dropping
in January.
all this money on me. Hey, I just
Bobby's
want you to know,
World.
I think you rock.
It's Bobby.
I don't mean The Rock, A-Rock. You rock. And I just wanted you to know that.
Oh, boy. Bobby with the $100 super chat bomb. Bobby is the best. We go from Bad Bunny to Bad Bobby. I love it. I love it. Bobby, thank you. Bombs away. Bombs away. But remember the Mountain Dew Pitch Black debacle at the Royal Rumble. It looked like we were going to get something similar on this show. And then there was no mention of it. Well, this was the Cinnamon Toast Crunch match because when Rey and Dominik came out, they had Cinnamon Toast Crunch on the ring posts, and they had it on the barricade. They had it on the little lower third on the screen when they put Rey's name on the screen. So after all that, this was the Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I was very disappointed that we didn't have Cinnamon Toast Crunch on a poll. Nothing. That's too bad. This turned out to be exactly what I was hoping it would be, which was one of my favorite things on the entire show. I love this. This is one of the best parts of the night. Before the match, they aired a video of Dominik being led out of a prison cell in handcuffs. You know, he was in there as if he had like murdered 10 people. It's as if he was in, he's like on death row or something. So they lead him out of his prison cell in handcuffs into a corrections van. And then they cut to a shot of the live stadium where we heard sirens going off with the same corrections van pulling in on the side of the ramp. This is very similar to what they used to do with Kane. Remember when they used to chain up Kane after he got unmasked in 2003, he had the towel on his head? They would drive like the paddy wagon into the building and he's in the shackles and they would lead him to the ring. This is very similar. Because, Dominik and Kane, they look very similar, the two of them. So Dominik comes out of the van in cuffs. He's wearing a hoodie. Underneath the hoodie, he is wearing his father's mask, or a version of his father, because I think Rey wore like his body outfit, it was like a onesie that he wore at Halloween Havoc. I don't remember if the mask was actually separate, but it was his mask from Halloween Havoc 1997. And the classic match that Rey had with Eddie Guerrero. I instantly recognized Dan Barry, by the way. I don't know how many of you know Dan Barry. I don't know him personally, but I know who he is. Independent wrestler. Well, tonight he was a corrections officer. I said, hey, that's Dan Barry. There he is. As they're leading Dominik through the crowd, Dominik took the mask off so he didn't wrestle the match in it. Michael Cole, though, had a meltdown on commentary. Michael Cole has really played this up on commentary now for months. He's constantly disgusted by Dominik's behavior, how he has disrespected his father. So Cole was just beside himself with disgust by this display. So just when I thought, man, this entrance here can't be topped, right? This was perfect. I thought that Dominik should come out in a lowrider to Eddie Guerrero's theme music. But what they did was even better. They were one step ahead. So just when I thought this couldn't be topped, we cut to the back, and we see Rey Mysterio in the passenger seat of a lowrider being driven by Snoop Dogg. As they played Ain't Nothing But a G-Thang, and they are driving out into the arena, so they stop that song, and as they're pulling into the stadium, they start playing Eddie Guerrero's theme song. Perfect. So they drive out there, and they stop, and as Rey gets out of the lowrider, they play Rey's theme. He goes underneath the ramp. I guess that's, there's a staircase under there so he can go up to the ramp to make his formal entrance. And he makes his way down to the Ray. See, you know that you're a Hall of Famer. Ray went into the Hall of Fame last night. You know you're a Hall of Famer when you come out at WrestleMania and you get 3 fucking songs. He had 3 songs in his entrance here. That's how fucking great Rey Mysterio is. He was also dressed as the Flash, by the way. That was his outfit tonight. So Ray wasn't even in the ring yet. I'm already hyped up for this. This is fantastic. So early in the match, Ray pulled his belt off. He starts whipping his son with his belt. And the people are going nuts for this. Dom goes outside. He goes over to where his mother and his sister are, right? Angie and Aaliyah, they're there again. They're in the front row. He goes over to them, and his sister has a red Solo cup in her hand. And I'm thinking, oh boy, he's going to pull an MJF here. And sure enough, he did. He grabbed the cup out of his sister's hand, splashed it back in her face, and Aaliyah was ready to jump over the barricade. Ray came over to calm down his daughter, and that gave Dominik an opportunity to lower the boom on his dad. He attacked Ray, gave him a slingshot into the ring post, and Dominik went on offense. He went back outside a little bit later. He got in his mother's face this time, and he told his mother to shut her mouth, so she slapped the taste out of his. Now, of course, if we're picking nits here, that should have been a disqualification. As soon as Angie put her hands on her son, the referee should have called for the DQ. But I'll allow it here. We'll let that one slide. The guy was being a brat, so it's all good. This time it was Ray who came over and sent his son face first into the ring post. Then he went over and gave his wife a kiss. Shout out to Julian Shaw, who just became a Sound Off legend. Boy, Sound Off legend, that's top tier here on this channel. Thank you, Julian. So with Ray in control, we saw Finn Balor and Damian Priest. I guess they came out of the crowd. I don't know where they came from, but all of a sudden, there they were at ringside. Ray got Dominik in position for the 619. He hit the move. Balor got up on the apron. He distracted the referee. Priest on the other side distracted Ray. That gave Dominik a chance to knock his father off the apron. And he took over again. So they ended up on the floor. Here comes Legado del Fantasma. Santos Escobar, Cruz del Toro, Joaquin Wilde. They run down to the ring in their LWO Latino World Order t-shirts that Ray gave them on SmackDown Friday night, if you missed it. I know there was a lot of wrestling Friday night. I covered SmackDown here on the channel, but there's a lot of wrestling on Friday night, so I know not everybody was watching SmackDown. But yes, the LWO is back. I thought it might just be a one-night thing. Apparently not. Michael Cole on commentary was saying that basically the LWO is back. So apparently it's going to be a faction again, I guess. So they ran down to try to even the odds. Escobar did his missile dive out of the ring onto Damian Priest, knocked him back in between the 2 announce desks, right at Bad Bunny's feet. So Dominik hit a 619 to his dad, and he goes up top for the frog splash, and he nails it, but Ray kicks out. So that didn't work. Dominik decides he's going to go pull off one of the top turnbuckles. Referee sees what he's doing. Referee says, no, you can't do that. And the referee is fumbling around with the turnbuckle pad. He's trying to, reassemble it and reattach it. Well, Dominik uses that to go into the opposite course. It was all just a decoy, a diversion. He goes into the opposite corner, and there was a blazer sitting on the mat. I think Damian Priest might have been wearing it when he came out. So there's a blazer sitting in the corner on the floor, and hidden inside is a chain. Dominik grabs the chain. He's going to use it on his dad. Before he could, Bad Bunny comes over. He reaches into the ring. He snatches the chain away from Dominik. Gets a big reaction. Ray knocks Dom into the ropes. He connects with the 619. Follows that with the frog splash for the 1, 2, 3. All is right. Rey Mysterio has beaten his son. And he rejoiced with his wife and daughter. He invited them into the ring to celebrate. They all hugged. Dominik on the ramp with Balor and Priest. Dominik was stewing. Got a nice close-up of his face. Like they did with Owen at the end of WrestleMania 10, right? As he was watching Brett celebrate in the ring. Even though he beat him at the beginning of the show, he's looking at Brett going, man. He goes, what about me? What about me? That's kind of what Dominik was doing here, looking back at his father. I figured a Judgment Day loss here would probably bode very well for Rhea Ripley later in the show. Frankly, I think it bodes well for Finn Balor and Hell in a Cell tomorrow. This was fantastic. I loved it. I love this. I love this. From start to finish, from the entrances to the ending, the match itself was good. This was not a 4-star affair. This was not the best match on the show by any means. But it didn't have to be. This was all about the story. This was all about the whole Rey and Dominik dynamic. Could Rey get his revenge on his son? His son has been making his life a living hell now for months, for the last 6 months. Walked out on his father at the Hall of Fame on Friday night. He has made Rey's life a living hell. And he has disrespected Rey's wife and his daughter. He and Rhea have invaded their home multiple times. All these horrible things that his bastard son has been doing to him. The story they told tonight was excellent. And in the end, they got the happy moment, feel-good moment with Rey getting the win and celebrating with his family. This has been the best story outside of the bloodline that this company has told, that this company has done in the last 6 months. And it was starting to drag a little bit because we were starting to get a lot of repetition in that segment every week when Rey and Dominik would be out there and he would say, I want to fight you. And Rey said, I'm not going to do it. Under no circumstances am I going to fight you. And some of Dominik's dialogue, it was just getting very repetitive. But then they did the big payoff a couple of weeks ago, and it was great. It got a huge reaction, right? It got the reaction that you would hope for, and it just built perfectly. And look, there was a report in The Observer this week. I am not at all surprised to read about the fact that Triple H and a lot of people in WWE are very high. I should have just stopped the comment right there. But a lot of people in WWE are very high on Dominik Mysterio and his ceiling and his potential in this company to be a big deal, to go on to become a big star. And they're very pleased with his progression so far and how he's improved. And I've been saying it a lot on the streams. You look at Dominik 6 months ago. You look at Dominik a year ago when he was still a babyface, when he was teaming with his father and they were tag team champions, before that. It's night and day. The heel turn, joining the Judgment Day, they kind of lucked into this whole prison dom thing. All of this, the pairing with Rhea has been just hugely beneficial and hugely positive for him. And it's allowed him to show more of his personality and to have some fun with it. And his promos have improved. I'm not saying he's fucking MJF when he's out there on the mic, but you can see the progression. So I agree. I agree with Triple H. He has every right to be very pleased, I think, with the progress that they have made with Dominik. And, in the next few years, they could have a legitimate star on their hands. I've been entertained by a lot of the shit that he's been involved in. One of the things I look forward to, frankly, on the show every week. So I'm kind of hoping that this story will continue. And this is not the end of this story. This is not the end of this story. They're going to be doing Backlash in Puerto Rico next month. And I'm sure they're going to want to get Damian Priest the big match on that show. We saw Bad Bunny involved in this match. Bad Bunny is going to be there. I don't know if he's going to be wrestling, but I fully expect there to be some sort of tag team match on that Backlash show. I could see Rey and Escobar. I mean, if it could be Rey and Bad Bunny, but if Bad Bunny is not wrestling, it could be Rey and Escobar against Priest and Dominik. Maybe Bad Bunny is the ringside enforcer or the referee, or who knows, right? What involvement he will have, but I fully expect that to happen. And you look even further into the future. Rey, or Dominik, I should say, has been growing out the mullet, and I think he's been growing it out for a reason. It makes me wonder if they're building to something, maybe at Ford Field for SummerSlam, if they might do mask against hair. Rey against Dominik. Dominik puts his hair on the line. Rey puts his mask on the line. Very possible that I think they could be building to a big stipulation like that involving them. So this was great stuff. One of my favorite things on the show. So we had the SmackDown Women's Championship on the line. Speaking of favorite things on the show, SmackDown Women's Championship match with Charlotte Flair defending her title against Rhea Ripley. 3 years after Charlotte beat Rhea to win the NXT Women's Championship at WrestleMania, here we are again. Charlotte against Rhea. Big babyface pop for Rhea Ripley's introduction by Samantha Irvin. Noticeable boos for Charlotte. Charlotte, I will say that Charlotte had a look on her face when she came down to the ring. This woman had a look on her face like, tell me you're not happy about not main eventing the show without telling me that you're not happy about not main eventing the show. And I'll tell you what, if they use that as motivation to go out there and throw it back in people's faces tonight, then that's exactly what they did. Michael Cole pointed out that this was the first time in WrestleMania history that all of the parties involved here in this match, so the wrestlers in the ring, the referee, and the ring announcer, were all women. So they made sure to point that fact out. Charlotte countered the Riptide into a beautiful spike DDT for a close near fall. Rhea always she's on point with those DDT cells. So that was a great spot. Charlotte tried for the figure 8 a couple of times. Rhea would just keep kicking her away. And then both women booted each other at the same time. We got a double down in the middle of the ring. Charlotte headed up top for her moonsault. Rhea cut her off. And Rhea hit a huge waistlock throw. And in midair, Charlotte flipped over and landed flat on her face. And went splat on the way down. Rhea scrambled over for the pin. Charlotte kicked out. Charlotte hit a pretty bad natural selection. I think natural selection is a shit finish anyway. It's a terrible looking finish. So this was not a good natural selection. But Rhea slid out the back door on the pin attempt. Rhea tried for another Riptide, but Charlotte turned it into a German suplex. Rhea got one as well, one of her own. But again, Charlotte tried to flip her body all the way over. And I don't know why. I guess that's just the spot. I don't know if she's doing that because she's got the long legs. And I don't know. But this time, in flipping her body completely over, this was scary because she landed right on her face. And when I say that she landed right on her face, they showed a replay of it in slow motion. She landed right on her face. Like Concussion City. And she came up and she had matte burn on the bridge of her nose. That was very noticeable for the rest of the match. She's lucky she didn't break her nose. So that was a scary spot. Charlotte booted Rhea to the floor, went up top, hit the moonsault, which took down Rhea. Rolled her back inside. Again, she tried for the figure 4, but Rhea kicked her off. Rhea hit the Riptide finally, and Charlotte kicked out at 2.5. Rhea couldn't believe it, right? Sold it great. Fans were really up for this. Rhea got the prism lock applied, the reverse cloverleaf. Charlotte crawled over to the ropes. Rhea got pulled forward, so Charlotte has the ropes, and she pulls Rhea forward. She kind of jerks her forward. And Rhea almost crushed Jessica Carr in the corner, but she didn't. She was okay. She didn't take a bump. But Rhea turned. She was like briefly stunned, Rhea was. And Rhea turned around right into a spear. Charlotte went for the pin. Rhea kicked out. Good near fall. So both women get up. We have the yay boo spot. Every time Rhea throws a punch, everybody goes, yay. Every time Charlotte throws a punch, they go, boo. So back and forth we go. Finally, Charlotte gets the figure 4 applied. Ripley, though, quickly grabs the bottom rope. Charlotte was on her knees, and she is talking to herself. She's starting to lose her mind. Like, remember the Ultimate Warrior, WrestleMania 7, talking to his hands, right? Looking up at the gods and talking to his hands. So Charlotte doesn't know what she has to do to put this woman away. Rhea was on the apron. Charlotte was inside the ring. They both climbed to the middle rope. Rhea pulled Charlotte forward, drove her face first right into the top of the ring post. Charlotte is laying there dead. Her body is like dangling over the ring post. And with Charlotte out cold on the ropes, Rhea hit an avalanche riptide from the middle rope down to the mat, and finally pins Charlotte Flair to win the SmackDown Women's Championship. The build to this match left a lot to be desired, and I'm being very generous with it when I say that, okay? The build to this match was no good. But I never doubted what these two could do in the ring. And I pointed out the fact that we already know that these two can work well together. They did it at WrestleMania 36 in front of no people. They went in there, and Rhea was a lot less experienced than she is now. She was a babyface back then. And they went in there and they had an excellent match. And I said, well, this is a sign of what's to come. So I never doubted that these two can go in there and potentially steal the show and they can have a great match. It's just that the promos, they had one pretty good pull-apart brawl on SmackDown a few weeks ago. That was it. And all this talk about how this is going to be the WrestleMania main event, and I said, this doesn't feel like a WrestleMania main event. This should not be the WrestleMania main event. But they went out here on the show. They had a tremendous battle. This was the best match on the entire show up to this point. Some people might say it is the best match on the show, period. I love the main event. I love this match as well. You could argue that either one was the best match on the show. I might even give it a tie. But they had an excellent match. This was light years better than the match that Charlotte had with Ronda Rousey on last year's show. Light years better than the match those two had on night one of WrestleMania 38. And this was, I think, the best women's match of the year so far. Before I would have said Mercedes and Kyrie from that Battle in the Valley show back in February, I think this trumped the Battle in the Valley match. This right here was not only the best women's match that I've seen so far this year, but this is on the list of best matches of the year in 2023 so far. Rhea Ripley finally gets her crowning moment. Charlotte, she did that thing on the outside of the ring when the match was over where she looked like she was in near tears, but she was smiling. And I think, again, in this case, it was a genuine smile. I think she was genuinely happy to see Rhea get her moment. You know? And so that was very noticeable when the match was over. I guarantee you, okay, without even talking to either one of these women, I guarantee you that this was like WrestleMania 23. This was exactly like what happened with Batista and The Undertaker, who were pissed when they found out that they were not going on last for the World Heavyweight title that year. It was going to be John Cena and Shawn Michaels for the WWE Championship, and they were furious. And when they were told they were going on in the middle of the show and not closing the show, they decided, well, we're going to go out there and we're going to shove it down your throat. We're going to go out there and have the best match of the night, and then you go out there and try to top that. And in my opinion, nobody could. Undertaker and Batista went out there and they had, in my opinion, the best match of the night at WrestleMania 23. And I guarantee you there was a lot of that going on here, where these women were told either yesterday or today, they found out, you guys are not going on last. We're putting the tag team match on last. There's no way they were happy about that. Charlotte was talking about it just the other day in an interview. She was saying, you know, I understand everybody's talking about story, but how come the majority of the men's Royal Rumble winners end up in the main event? Shouldn't the women also be in the main event of WrestleMania? So clearly it was bothering her. And I guarantee you that was extra motivation for them when they went out there tonight. And they went out there and they killed it. So kudos to both of them. Now, I don't know what this means as far as the Judgment Day is concerned going forward, because now they're a Raw faction. Well, now Rhea is the SmackDown Women's Champion. And if Dominik is going to continue his feud with his father, Ray is a SmackDown guy, that means Dominik will probably be on SmackDown most of the time too. So I don't know what that means for the future of the Judgment Day. I don't know what that means for Balor and Priest, and keeping all of them together, we'll have to wait and see. Miz and Snoop Dogg were in the ring to announce that tonight's attendance for WrestleMania this is the entertainment number the WWE likes to announce. This is not the real number, but the attendance they announced was 80,497. There were a lot of people in that stadium. When they would pull back and show some of the wide shots, it looked great, right? You had this packed stadium. I know a few people who were at the stadium who said that, again, the stage was beautiful and every seat was packed and it's a nice play. I've never been to SoFi Stadium, so I don't know. But there were a lot of people there. Is all you need to know. Snoop Dogg said that the only thing better than those numbers would be if The Miz had a match tonight. And I disagree with Snoop Dogg. Miz said that it's funny you mentioned that. I put out a tweet about an open challenge, and nobody responded. And as soon as he said that, out comes Pat McAfee. I love Nick Khan was asked about Pat McAfee in some of these interviews, and he played dumb. He said, no, we haven't talked to Pat. Pat's a busy guy. We don't know what's happening with Pat. We wish him the best. I guess this is one of these surprises that Nick Khan alluded to, was Pat McAfee. Hopefully not the only surprise. We did not get Bobby Lashley on this show. So the Bobby Lashley Open Challenge, I assume they are saving for tomorrow. I think tomorrow is one match short of how many they had tonight. So I would have to assume that that'll be happening on the show tomorrow. McAfee comes out, and he gets into the ring, and he's got a mic. And he says, I didn't see anything online about that open challenge you mentioned, but I could beat your ass right here and now. And Miz asked the crowd if they wanted to see The Miz against Pat McAfee right here and right now. Miz took his jacket off. He said, there's nothing that I would like more, but I am the host of WrestleMania. I can't make matches. I'm not a matchmaker. It's a bar mitzvah, everybody. It's Solomonster's re-bar mitzvah.
We're having a party here.
Paul Hamilton with the $150 super chat bomb. I was wondering if we'd hear from our old pal Paul, the Portland pop star, coming in hot here during the WrestleMania Night 1 stream. I love it. Paul, you're amazing. Paul is always with us for the big streams. So that's right. Is a wrestle mitzvah. That's right. If MJF can have a rebar mitzvah, then God damn it, so can I. So The Miz said, look, I'd love nothing more than to do this, but I can't make the match. Pat said that Miz has tiny balls. They're still doing this tiny balls nonsense. Said, got the crowd to chant tiny balls. Snoop Dogg said that, well, I can make the match official. We got a referee here. I'll step out of the ring. And he called for the bell. And so we had an impromptu match. Bobby Lashley can't get a match. LA Knight can't get a match. But Pat McAfee and The Miz, they can get a match here on this show. So he took Miz down with the spine buster, caught Miz coming off the top rope, right in the face with a super kick. Miz rolled out to the floor. And as he said, you know what? The hell with this. He was going to walk away. As Miz is going to walk away, he sees George Kittle of the 49ers sitting in the front row. George Kittle, huge wrestling fan. Right, they're in LA. I'm not surprised to see him at the show. He goes over to Kittle and he gives him a shove. Right, like when Bam Bam shoved LT at the Royal Rumble in Tampa back in '95. So Kittle, of course, he's not going to take this line down. He hops the barricade, clotheslines The Miz. He tells McAfee to climb up to the top rope. And so he obliged. And up to the top rope, actually right on top of the post, goes Pat McAfee. Now, keep in mind that Miz, at least at one time, had a reputation when it came to catching people or not catching people. When it came to dives out to the floor, I can remember a few where it looked like he was afraid to catch the other person and the person went splat. So I'm thinking, okay, this is a bit of a risk here. But that was years ago, right? This is 2023, right? It can't be the same thing. I'm sure Miz has matured since then. Well, not really. Because Pat McAfee, he did a dive. He did basically a swanton off the top of the ring post. Miz being Miz, he did not catch Pat McAfee. Kind of brushed up against him, but Pat McAfee went splat right on the floor. And hit the floor. He actually hit the floor pretty hard. I'm sure he knocked the wind out of himself there for a few seconds. So he rolled Miz back inside, hit a punt kick, and got the win. Well, that was definitely a segment. That's all I can say about that. It was the come down match before the main event. It was a segment. And I don't know if it was just me, but it seemed like the crowd, I mean, they liked Pat, but he didn't really get the reaction he normally gets, or the reaction he got at WrestleMania last year. It seemed a little more subdued this time. But again, it was the
Look
come down
at
match before the main
Rich
event,
over here dropping all this,
which is
money
coming up
on
next,
me.
by the
Hey,
way.
I just want you to know, I think you rock. I don't mean The Rock, A Rock, you rock. And I just wanted you to know that.
Here he is again. Paul Hamilton dropping another $100 super chat. Says, for Mr. Coach Pete Rose, sir. Paul, man. Thank you, man. I don't know what to say. You guys are blowing me away tonight. This is only night 1. What's night 2 going to bring? Paul, thank you very much. But we have to talk about this main event for the Undisputed Tag Team Championship. Headlining WrestleMania for the very first time. Never before have we had a Tag Team Championship match at WrestleMania. It was the Usos defending against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in the city where they got their start. They got their big break. I mean, they got their start in Montreal in the Canadian scene, but they got their first big break for PWG out in California. So here we are all these many years later. I saw even Adam Cole tonight went on Twitter during this match and posted PWG with a little heart emoji. First, before we even get to the match, first of all, they sent out Lil Uzi Vert to perform Just Wanna Rock. Hey, it's my favorite song. My favorite artist. You didn't know that? I'm a big Lil Uzi Vert fan, right? I got the t-shirts and everything. I go to all of his concerts. Got his autograph. So I was very happy to see Lil Uzi Vert here. He played his song. He sang for about 60 seconds before they stopped that. And out came the Usos. 622 days as tag team champions. The longest reigning tag team champions in company history. It was a long time ago that they passed the New... Well, they passed, I guess, the New Day first, right past Demolition. Usos passed the New Day, so they've been in the lead for quite a while. I think the New Day was at like 483 days or something. So they beat that record a long time ago. But we started here with Sami Zayn and Jey Uso. And from there, it was all the Usos for the next several minutes. You know, they got the heat on Sami. They were kicking his ass. Kevin Owens was on the apron, waiting very impatiently for the tag. Finally, he gets the tag. He takes out both Usos with a cannonball dive to the floor. Frog splash to Jimmy from the apron. Frog splash in the ring to Jey, who kicked out at 2. A little while later, he tried for a swanton to Jey, who got the knees up. And Jimmy followed very quickly with an Uso splash for a near fall. Sami dropped Jey on the apron, right on his head, with a brainbuster on the apron. And Kevin Owens connected with the swanton to Jimmy for a close near fall. So Sami went up, but he decided to hit his own Uso splash. And again, only got a near fall out of it. Usos came back. They swamped Sami Zayn. They swarmed this man with super kicks until Kevin Owens tried to make the save. He ate a super kick as well. They went back to Sami. More super kicks for him. It was a super kick party here in LA. They tried for the 1D. When Jimmy hit the ropes, Owens grabbed his feet, pulled him out to the floor, got him up on the Spanish announce table. So now Owens is on top of the table. Jimmy is on top of the table. Jey Uso sees this, and he goes outside, and he joins them both on top of the announce desk. And they give Owens a double choke slam from the Spanish announce table down through the English announce table. Table collapses. Kevin Owens is done for, right? He's wiped out. Owens is finished. They look back at the ring. Sami Zayn's all alone. He's woozy. And now it's basically devolved into a handicap match. So they connected with the one and done, which nobody up to this point has ever kicked out of. But this time Sami Zayn did. He becomes the first person to kick out of the 1D. Jey yelled at Sami. He starts slapping him around. He's asking him, why won't you quit? Giving him forearm shots to the face. Sami was out on his feet. Jey was vicious out there, right? He had a mean streak about him. Jey gave Sami a haluva kick, his own move. Jey told him, you should have never left the bloodline. And Sami all of a sudden got a second win. He sprung to life, and he hit an exploder in the corner. At the same time, Owens crawled back up on the apron. So now the people see what's going on here. And now the people are starting to come up, right? So even after all the matches, all the great matches we've had on this show, because being in that main event could be tough, right? You could kill the crowd. The crowd could be exhausted. It was almost midnight Eastern time, but there was no lack of energy from this crowd here in this match, right? So they're getting up. They see Owens is about to get the tag. Sami makes the tag. Pop-up powerbomb to Jimmy. Pop-up powerbomb to Jay. Owens is screaming at Sami, do it, do it. And Sami Zayn delivers a haluva kick to Jimmy in the corner. Owens hits Jay with a stunner. Goes for the pin. Jay kicked out. You can't have Kevin Owens pin Jey Uso. The only way this match could have possibly ended was with Sami Zayn being the one to deliver the kill shot. It was always going to be that way. So even though it was a great near fall, it was a tremendous near fall spot here. In a match that was filled with near falls, this was maybe the best one they did. But I knew, like, they can't have Owens be the one to get the pin here. It's got to be Sami. So Owens helped Zayn to his feet. At the same time, the Usos got back to their feet. We had the face-off. We had the stare down in the middle of the ring. And again, the crowd, you see all these people in the background. They're all up on their feet. And we got a big brawl here. Sami he was disposed of outside the ring. They put Owens down with super kicks. Jimmy went up. Jay went up in the opposite corner. They hit stereo Uso splashes to Kevin Owens. And Owens kicks out. Now they got Owens up on the ropes. Sami, though, pulls Jimmy outside. And Owens drops Jay with the Fisherman Buster from the ropes. Owens makes the tag. Sami is legal. Jay's in the opposite corner. Jey Uso's out on his feet in the opposite corner. Haluva kick to Jay. And Jay sort of collapses into Sami. And Sami's staring at him, and he says something to him. Puts him back in the corner. Hits a second haluva kick. Jimmy gets into the ring, and Jimmy eats a stunner. And this was the moment. This was the closing shot. Sami, this is always, like, when I imagined how this match would go down months ago, this is exactly how I expected this final moment to play out. It was the only way this match ever could have ended. Jay in one corner, Sami in the other. Get that close-up shot of his face. Almost like this feeling of relief washing over his face because he knows what's about to happen. And Sami comes out of the corner, hits a third haluva kick. Down goes Jey Uso. Sami Zayn makes the cover. And we have new undisputed tag team champions. And everybody is cheering. Everybody is celebrating. They got a close-up shot of Kevin Owens sitting on the mat. And it's not often that we see Owens get emotional in a situation like this, like out on camera in a match or after a match. But zoomed in on his face, you can see tears in his eyes because the enormity of it for these two. I'm sure if you ask Kevin Owens if he ever imagined he would be in the main event of WrestleMania, he'd probably say, fuck no. Let alone back-to-back years, but here he gets to win the tag team titles in the main event of WrestleMania with his best friend. Like, what can be better than that? Think about the last 2 years that Kevin Owens has had at this show. He got to wrestle Stone Cold Steve Austin, who he idolized. The man, he met Stone Cold when Austin was at his peak in the Attitude Era in a chance meeting at an airport. And he asked him for advice when they were just starting out as wrestlers. And Austin said, don't ever stop running your mouth. That was his advice to Kevin Owens. Just keep talking. Don't ever stop talking. Keep running your mouth and you'll make money in this business. All these years later, he got to wrestle Austin in his comeback match. Think of all the comeback matches that Austin's turned down. He agreed to wrestle Kevin Owens. That was last year. I'm sure Owens was thinking, man, it's all fucking gravy from here. It don't get any better than this. Well, for him, yeah, it did, actually. Because now he got to win the titles in the main event with his best friend. Now he can retire. Now it's not going to be possible, I think, to top the last 2 years. I don't think we're going to be getting Kevin Owens in the main event of WrestleMania 40. But you could see it. Like, it hit him in that moment. He was getting very emotional. And obviously, Sami's wife in the front row, she was bawling. She was in tears. They held up the tag team titles. I think they shot off pyro. I don't even remember everything they did at the end of the show. But they gave them the big celebrations. And this was part of the payoff. part of the payoff. A very big part, but this was part of the payoff. This story is not over yet. Roman Reigns is still the champion. And there's still going to be a reckoning at some point with Jey and Roman. So this story still has a lot of chapters left to be written. The first chapter here, though, was not a good one for the Bloodline. And I will tell you that even though I am predicting, I'm still going to stick with my prediction. I think Roman Reigns is going to lose his championship to Cody Rhodes tomorrow night. How confident am I as I sit here right now? I'm not all that confident. I do think the fact that the Usos lost their titles makes it more likely than not that Roman retains, but I still feel like the right move to make is to put the titles on Cody Rhodes. I won't be disappointed or upset if he doesn't do it, but I think it's the right move to make. But that's the big match. We still have tomorrow night, the big main event, Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. Who goes over? That's the question. Who goes over? All I know is that night one is in the books, and night one was an excellent show. This will go down as one of the best nights of WrestleMania this company has ever produced. And as I said at the top, if tomorrow night can come anywhere close to the night we had tonight, this will be an all-timer as far as WrestleMania goes. I know, don't jinx it. I'm trying not to. I'm trying not to jinx it. But that's just how I feel. Now let's check this Twitter poll. I'm very curious to see where we are in the Twitter poll. I mean, that says it all right there. 94% thumbs up. I can't remember a WrestleMania that I put a poll up for that has gotten 90+% thumbs up. 94% thumbs up, 4% thumbs in the middle, not even 2% thumbs. I want to know who the 1.7% are who voted thumbs down. Thumbs down? I like even thumbs in the middle. You could justify that, but thumbs down, I don't understand that. But 94% were bordering on 3,000 votes. Poll's going to be up for a couple more days, so go vote at Solomonster and let me know what you thought of the show. Again, I am very happy that you are with me here tonight, choosing me for your WrestleMania Night 1 coverage, and I certainly hope you will choose me, right? Yeah, I don't even know what I'm saying. Choose me for your Night 2 coverage as well, because we get to do it all over again tomorrow night. We ain't getting no sleep this weekend. We never do. We never do on WrestleMania weekend. By the way, the goal tonight, as far as the likes goal here on the stream, was 850. And we are well over 1,100. So we will be doing Be the Booker a little bit later. I think I'm going to have to increase the goal. At least 1,000 likes tomorrow. I think that's what we're going to be doing. We'll see. We'll see. Metal Rules dropped a $25 super chat before I even went live 9 hours ago. Wanted to know who performed the Stone Cold Stunner in a more eye-pleasing fashion, Kevin Owens or Shark Boy. The only one who does it in a pleasing fashion is the person who popularized the move, which was Stone Cold Steve Austin. He wasn't the first, but he was the one who made it popular. Brumakian Productions with the 20. I did not make the big dono promise, but here you go. Get yourself a nice steak dinner at a steakhouse. I don't know too many nice steakhouses where you're going to get a steak dinner for $20, but Brumakian, thank you. I appreciate the support. Thomas Kallela, that men's showcase match was a match I did not know I needed. Great night one. That was a lot of fun. That match was a lot of fun to watch. Lakers Pats. Dom was robbed. Should have been a DQ on Angie. That's what I said, man. Referee's discretion, though, you know? You can't end the match like that. Technically, though, she did put her hands on him, so could have called for the disqualification. The Real CS02 with the $9.99. Do you think Dominik losing hurts him? Well, I wanted him to win. I don't think this hurts him. What do you say? No, I don't think it hurts him at all. He just had a major WrestleMania match against his father, who went into the Hall of Fame the night before. He had one of the best matches on the... He will end up having one of the best WrestleMania matches this year. And as far as entrances go, that was the #1 match. That was the #1 match. Dominik's entrance and Rey's entrance, that was better than any other, entrance or anything else on this show. So, no. To answer your question, it did not hurt. Gordon Smith finally got that Rhea payoff that you promised 3 years ago. No, he's talking about Triple H. Was that when Triple H said let it play out at the time? People were very upset that Rhea lost. Triple H said, you gotta let it play out. He was playing the long game, I guess, right? Yeah. Yeah, right. Wally in the chat says the Anoa'i family was the 1.7% that gave the show a thumbs down. Yeah. Mr. E 1976, here's to the tip jar. Mr. E, thank you. Ghostros with the $5. Buy or sell on the better late career resurgence, Undertaker or Shawn Michaels? I mean, when you say resurgence, I look at that as quality of matches. Shawn Michaels' quality of matches never went down. So Undertaker had the resurgence. If you're talking about who had the better second half of their career, then it's Shawn Michaels. But as far as a resurgence, I mean, Undertaker had far better matches in the second half of his career than he ever did in the first. Well, you know what? I shouldn't say that, though, because the first Hell in a Cell with Shawn in '97 is one of the best matches that the company's ever produced. And obviously, people talk about the Cell match with Foley, but just in terms of, like, the wrestling matches that he had, with Shawn, with Triple H, with Kurt Angle, with Batista, with Edge, Brock Lesnar, right? A lot of those came in the, latter part of his career. Boots, again, thank you, Boots, for that 20 channel memberships that you gifted earlier. You are a beast. Says, I'm sorry I loved you. I saw it, followed by the haluva kick. Yeah, that's kind of what it was. It's kind of what it was. Rizzo, I know they hopefully have something bigger planned for Bobby, but in storyline, it made no sense for McAfee to answer The Miz when Bobby has wanted a match for WrestleMania. Other than that, 8.3 out of 10. You doing decimals now? 8.3 out of 10? How about you round it off? I don't like decimals. Powerful one. Kevin Owens must be on cloud 18. 2 straight WrestleMania main events. First one with Stone Cold. Second one wins tag titles with his best friend. It don't get no better than that, man. It does not get any career-wise. I mean, he's pretty much at the top of the mountain right now. The Willy Bot. I've been negative on WWE for a while and have been down on booking. Tonight was the best show I've seen in a long time. If Cody can pin Roman clean tomorrow, my faith will be restored. Caleb, been listening to the show for about 6 or so years now. Thank you for the show and what you do. Thank you very much. Out of curiosity, who are 2 current wrestlers that you would like to see wrestle? Ignoring company restrictions. I would love to see Bryan Danielson against Okada. I would love to see Seth Rollins against Will Ospreay. The Real CS, I was literally crying after Sami and KO won the titles. I've been a fan for about 10 or so years now and have never cried so much for a wrestling match. Unbelievable. I love pro wrestling. That is from The Real CS. Noah Evans. Did you see that during the kickoff, they accidentally included images of Auschwitz during the Prison Dom promo package? I did not see that. I assume that was some production staffer that probably put the video together and probably didn't know any better. But again, I did not notice that. The Cheeseburger. I cannot wait to see MJF, the People's Champion, do a Make-A-Wish. I don't think that's a good idea. I could tell you stories about things I saw with MJF doing a meet and greet on the first Jericho cruise I went to. But I won't do that. Emiliana with the $4.99. So happy for Sami and Kevin. Loved that moment between Sami and Jay at the end. All four men were amazing. Show was fun. Overall, can't wait for night 2. Drew McIncock with the $4.99. I saw Bully the Clown in the crowd tonight, and he told me to shush so no one would notice him. Yeah, but did he have the makeup on and the big red nose? It'd be hard not to notice. EJ Slemp, really good night 1, except way too much Miz. I felt like WWE was trolling me with that Miz McAfee match. I was like Cornette watching Omega. Simi Valley, I love it when a story comes together. KO and Sami finish theirs tonight. Tomorrow, Cody finishes his. Winston Smith, Solo, you rock. And get your shirt in a 3XL. Are you talking about the t-shirts in the Pro Wrestling Tee store? Because I'm pretty sure they go up to 3XL. Binder Singh with the $9.99. Binder, thank you. You got a shout out coming your way on the podcast tomorrow. Thank you, Binder. Andrew Heller, I loved it when Sami said, "I'm sorry, Oos," after that first kick. And then proceeded to do 2 more. Vince Russo with the $9.99. Man, watching that Mysterio match has me hankering for a nice bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Maybe wash it down with some Prime while getting my taxes done with TurboTax. See, WWE succeeded in what they tried. They tried to brainwash you tonight, and apparently it worked. Maybe they'll have all new sponsors for night 2 tomorrow. Maybe they'll have... Better not steal any of my sponsors. Or Wizzle. Solomonster, where do you rank night 1, and what was the match of the night? Which match are you looking forward to tomorrow? Obviously, I'm looking forward to the main event. But ranking night 1, I mean, like I said, excellent show. WrestleMania is not done yet, so we can't rank WrestleMania. Match of the night is a toss-up between the main event and the women's match, but if it were me, I go main event. I go the tag team title match. Hey, JJ Malecha, thank you for the $9.99. Eating Lightning, $4.99. When I wrestled my friends as a kid, my name was the Green Meanie. I wore a homemade GWO shirt. Now I am in the real GWO. Thanks, Solomonster. Well, thank you. Thank you for being a channel member, man. Again, channel memberships are open. If anybody's interested, you got a brand new Sound Off Gamer episode up for channel members right now that will not be available to everyone until Monday. So if you just became a channel member tonight, if you're into the gaming content, it's on the channel. When you're done here, go check it out. Samuel Hayworth. I reckon that Cody vacates the Universal title on Raw. It is decided that in the King of the Ring, and then won by Jay, Reigns challenges him at Summerfest. I don't see it going down that way. Hey, C.A. Flores just became a channel member. Thank you very much. James Cooper, I absolutely love wrestling. So do I. Until next week, when we absolutely hate wrestling. Hey, Omos Phelps. Look at this. Omos just became a channel member. I guess I better be nice now. Do you realize that we are less than 24 hours away from the epic encounter between Brock Lesnar and Omos? I think wrestling is going to change forever tomorrow. Tokes Kazim, I cried hearing Viva la Raza. EJ Slemp, if Cody wins tomorrow, should there be a trios winner take all match at Backlash? Sami can finally pin Roman and they end their part of the story. No. No. Sami is not pinning Roman. Jazz Jackrabbit. What a name. Holy shit. Jazz Jackrabbit with the $4. A storyline adds so much, had me glued to the TV. I have not been this interested in WrestleMania in years. So the real question is, who is doing your taxes? After tonight, I think it's going to be TurboTax. I think they may have convinced me. I mean, after all, I had to stare at their logo on the ring post all night. Rodimus Prime with the $20 super chat. From Charlotte to Rhea, or from Charlotte versus Rhea, to the tag team title match, night one definitely delivered. That said, the men's tag team showcase was unexpectedly good. I personally enjoyed it. And tonight overall, I don't know why it would be unexpectedly good. I mean, we've been seeing various combinations of these men in the ring now for weeks on TV. We knew how good they were. I expected it to be good at the very least and great if they gave them enough time. I thought it was great. Sam Dankman Weed with the $35 Seth Rollins super chat. Solomonster giving Seth Rollins a run for his money with that shirt. They should call you Leaky Faucet Monster with all that drip. Well, you know I love skull. I mean, look at this. There's literally a skull on the screen covering the skull. Look at that. Covering the skull on my shirt. All about skulls. You realize that Seth Rollins wore this shirt on television once? He did. I didn't even realize it until after I bought it, but they actually have an entire suit in this exact design. See, that I think is a little too much. But, thank you very much. Heroes Workshop with the $11 super chat. Night one was great. Thank you, Solomonster, and all of the Sound Off community in the chat for being a great place to get hyped for upcoming events and talking about it immediately after. Road to 100,000 subs. Heroes, thank you very much. Winter's Paw, outside of the opener, a flawless night for Papa H. Can we not call him Papa H, please? It's a little weird. It's a little weird. Just a little bit. Hey, Ayub with the $50 from earlier. At the time, he said it was 7:30 in the morning in Kuwait. Just wanted to know what the hell was Seth Rollins wearing tonight. See, he should have been wearing this shirt. I don't know what he was wearing. I know it was pink, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly what it was that he was wearing. That's a good question. We got Andrew Jorlog. Great night one. A little bit worried that Roman retains tomorrow. Very possible. Juan Sanchez just got out of WrestleMania. The place was packed. It was a great night. Loudest and most active crowd had to be during Logan against Seth. So that's interesting. So that, the Logan Paul match got the biggest reaction live. You know what I think it was? It was KSI. That's what it was. Kumar Jenkins, Sammy and KO winning was perfectly done. Those 3 kicks by Sammy were satisfying. Love your content solo. Kumar, thank you very much. I agree, it was very satisfying. Hulkling93 with the $20 super chat. The running theme I got for most of the night was no half-assing. Enjoyed it. The only thing that grinded my gears was Michael Cole not giving Theory heat for the Phantom loss and cheating to beat the GOAT. Well, he had to save all of his rage for the Rey Mysterio and the Dominik stuff. Cody Moore with the 1999. I remember I asked you years ago if Kevin Owens was done in WWE because he wasn't going anywhere. Since then, he's been in the main event of WrestleMania twice. It is quite amazing. Kevin Owens has 2 WrestleMania main events. CM Punk has none. Just saying. Who would have ever thought? That's all I'm saying. Who would have ever thought? Winter's Paw. The next time you call anyone irredeemable, just remember Jay went from hosting karaoke night and Usi Hot to having an all-time main event. P.S. You rock. Winter's Paw, thank you. Boy, I forgot about that. I forgot about the Usi Hot stuff with the revival. I think I kind of put that in the back of my mind. Jazz Jackrabbit, do you think we'll see Dustin tomorrow night? I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, do I think he'll be there? I think there's a very good possibility he'll be at the building. Are they going to show him on TV? I doubt it. I doubt it very seriously. GCC 305. It should have been Jey Uso against Sami Zayn one-on-one. Tag team match made zero sense at all. This is a hill I'm willing to die on. Says you rock. I disagree completely with you, but if that's how you feel, you're certainly entitled to that opinion, but you would be wrong. 0.216. Thanks for the sleep you are sacrificing for us this week. It wouldn't be so bad if I didn't have the podcast to do tomorrow. I wasn't willing to not do the podcast because we have a lot to talk about, so I'll try to get it up as early as I can. For those wondering, I would not look for the podcast until probably, I don't know, maybe two or three-ish maybe. It's what I'm aiming for. It'll be up well before WrestleMania. But yeah, it's not like I do it piecemeal or anything like that. I will be recording it probably starting at like 10:30 or 11. So we'll see. Anyway, he says, what are the odds that Asuka and Bianca can match the quality of today's women's championship? Thought it was excellent. It was tough to beat. Is it possible? Yes, it's possible. Bianca Belair has had back-to-back excellent WrestleMania matches. Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks stole the show in 2021. I guess it would have been. And then last year, she and Becky had, if not the best, one of the top two matches of WrestleMania last year. So we know what Asuka can do. Here's another situation where the build-up to the Women's Championship match has been awful. It's been terrible. But you look at the quality of the performers in the match, they could absolutely go out there and, kill it tomorrow night. Do I think they're going to have a better match than Charlotte and Rhea? Probably not. That would be very tough. But do I think that they could go out there and have an excellent match? Yeah, of course. Absolutely. Rizzo, hot take prediction for tomorrow. We see Christian, and he helps Edge win. Also, I think a Christian Edge feud would be a great way to send Edge away. I haven't heard anything. I haven't read anything about Christian's contract status. I mean, is it possible that the burial stipulation literally was like the final burial of his career in AEW? Sure, anything's possible, but I would think that we would have heard something about his AEW status. I already know someone else that we're going to see tomorrow. I don't want to spoil it in case people don't know, but Edge's entrance is going to be very, very interesting. That's all I'll say. Rizzo says, also, LOL at Cena becoming everything he ripped The Rock for. Well, you live long enough to become The Rock. That's what happens. Joey with the $4.99. What ad is more obnoxious? Cinemoji ads or the ECW Extreme Warfare Volume 2 commercial where Kimono Wanalea danced atop the ECW arena? Yeah, I would say that one. Fahad, over an hour ago, dropped a $120 super chat on the stream. Says, great night. Looking forward to tomorrow. Fahad, I am looking forward to tomorrow as well. I hope you will be here to join. Thank you very, very much. Paul Carpenter is in the chat and is having some sort of issue with the figuring out how to do a super chat. Can somebody help Paul? I don't know what the issue is, but somebody help out Paul. I know he's having some trouble. Sam Dankman Weeds, Cena's new motto, 1, 2, 3, pin me, pay me. Hey, he came in December for the tag team match and he won. So you can't say that he's been on a losing streak because the last time he wrestled, he won. Trey Knight 94, Street Profits winning made me happy. GWO for life. Jonathan Corky with 10 spot. Great half mania. Tough act to follow. Dominik having the second best match of the night was not something predictable a year ago. Also, man tears in the main event. All-time mania so far. Yusuf with a $25 super chat. Was hoping for LA Knight, but we got Pat McAfee. Holding out hope for tomorrow. As am I. Whatever Bobby Lashley is going to be doing, I have a feeling LA Knight will be involved. So we'll see. The Carloses. That Ray entrance with Eddie's theme was special. Well deserving of the Hall of Fame. And while they are impossible to compare due to era, will go down on the same level as Blue Demon and the great El Santo himself. Thank you, the Carloses. Zach Jones, buy or sell. Charlotte's incredibly Botox-filled face or Trish's 90s-inspired chest. I'll let you figure that out. Juan Sanchez with the $4.99. Solomonster, is it true that you are going to Be the Booker tomorrow, but with stipulations? It's possible. We do have a stipulations version. I only bust it out for special occasions. We'll see. The Mount Vernon kid, Christopher Bennett. Near perfect night one, Triple H delivered indeed. Fire Panda with the $20. Per some idiot on the internet, if Solomonster wants to actually show that he loves us, he will say hello. Each and every single one of us. Mention us by name. Well, that's impossible because Solomonster needs to get sleep. So I give a blanket thank you and love you to everybody. Merlot Williams, gaming tonight. Gaming tonight will catch the replay before night 2. Thanks for all you do. Do you think Mark Briscoe did not win the TV title for fear of backlash over a Rey Mysterio push after Eddie passed? No, I think he's being saved for a Ring of Honor World title match with Claudio. I think you can go even bigger than the TV title. Samuel Hayworth, predictions for WrestleMania 40 world title matches. For me, WWE Owens versus Zayn. Universal would be Gunther against Roman Reigns. Raw Women's would be Bianca against Rhea. And SmackDown Women's would be the Horsewoman 4-Way. We don't even have all the horsewomen in the company. So, yeah, I don't know. WrestleMania 40 is very far off. I will say this. He also, he being Gunther, did an interview. Oh, boy, I forgot one thing here. Shit. Oh, boy. I paused the Super Chats, and I forgot to unpause them. They're going to be coming in now all at the same time. Ah, shit. All right, well. We'll let them play out here. Hey, Andrew No Love just became a channel member. Thank you, Andrew. Welcome to the family. Here they come. I forgot they were paused. I paused it for the main event. Now we're going to have an hour's worth of Super Chats popping up on screen. That's great. That's great. Oh, boy. I was so excited by that main event. I forgot to unpause. Oh, boy. Terrible. Anyway, what I was saying is predictions for WrestleMania 40. I think Gunther will be in a World Championship match. Especially if they still have 2 titles at that point. If they don't... I mean, look, if they keep them unified, then less likely, but especially if they're not... if they are separated again, it's a much better chance that we'll see him, I think, in a match, main event match next year. As he should be. As he should be. We've got Turtlehead. Were all of the kickouts acceptable tonight? You know, they do tend to go overboard with the near falls and everything. The matches, though, were so good tonight, it didn't bother me as much as it sometimes does. It's very hit or miss. There are matches where there are a lot of near falls and a lot of kickouts that bother me. I don't feel like we saw kickouts out of too many finishers tonight. there were a lot of near falls, but the matches were so good it didn't ruin my enjoyment of the match, if that's what you're asking. Michael with the $9.99. Hey, I'm on my way home from the arena. It was my first ever Mania that I have been able to attend. Traffic is a bitch right now, so I decided to listen while driving home. Can't wait for tomorrow night. Lonnie Jones says, thank you. Lonnie, thank you. Slipper House Extra Extra says, tonight was fun. See Pat McAfee get his ass kicked by Corey Graves already. Long live Pastor Solomonster. ZZ with the 10 spot. KSI and Logan created Prime together. Marketing-wise, Logan is largely the face of it domestically, and KSI is largely the face internationally. Huge KSI fan, by the way. Best moment of the night. We have Bobby's World with that $100 super chat drop from earlier. Bobby, it's just Bobby's World. We're just living in it. That's what I say. Outstanding night one. Here's some incentive for you to come back tomorrow night instead of getting much needed sleep. My girlfriend always says Seth needs to stop raiding Becky's closet, but tonight she said Becky wouldn't be caught dead in that outfit. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck he was wearing. I have no idea. Jacob Harrison. Could you see Braun Breaker feuding with Austin Theory by SummerSlam? Yeah, I could see that for the U.S. title. I could see that. Hey, Luis. Our boy Luis just gifted a channel membership. Look at that. Inferno Fireboy. I was there live. SoFi was on fire. Well, you know, when you have somebody named Inferno Fireboy, I would think that the place would probably be up in flames. So yeah, not very surprising. DEH Sires, the best WrestleMania night that I have seen. I'm 23, by the way. Felt like an NXT TakeOver show. Do we see Jay White tomorrow or Monday? I'm thinking if we see him on Monday. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know that him accepting Bobby Lashley's open challenge would be a big enough deal to that crowd. I mean, there are people who would know him. It's different than Cody showing up last year to face Seth. I don't think Jay White is in that same position. I would save him for, if he's coming in, I would save him maybe for Monday. You know, we need some surprises for the Raw after Mania. Scott Martin says top 5 Mania so far. Jack Davis, $4.99. Is the noise used when the Strowman Express pops up here in the chat the same when Rock made fun of Kevin Nash by mocking his Diesel character in 2002? Well, it sure sounds similar. I don't know. What do you think? It sure is very similar. Kenneth Taffy with the $10. Hey, Solomonster, though it's been 20 years since, do you think Night 1 is as good of a WrestleMania as 19, if not close? Also with the Triple H in charge, maybe there could be a WrestleMania as good as 17. Look, I hope that every year they strive to put on the best WrestleMania possible. So, with any hope, yeah, that'll happen. Keep in mind, we don't know what's happening with the ownership situation in this company. This could very well be the final WrestleMania under McMahon ownership. Very possible. Very possible that WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia next year could be under a completely different entity. And who the hell knows what that's going to look like. That could be a good thing. That could be a very bad thing. We don't know. So that's something that not too many people are really talking about or thinking about. You know, how different might WrestleMania be next year if somebody else is running the company? But as far as WrestleMania 19, do I think that Night 1 was as good as Mania 19? I may have enjoyed this. I may have enjoyed this more. I don't know. It's up there with it. Yeah, I think so. Zachariah Sitchin. It's obvious now that Damage Control should disband. In the coming weeks. Thank God, because I can't stand to listen to their entrance theme. It is just awful. Julian Shaw. As a kid growing up in New Zealand, it was my dream to attend WrestleMania. Can't believe I'm living that dream tonight. Who do you think are ideal opponents for Rhea? I actually think Bianca Belair would be. And if Bianca loses her championship, a year from now, WrestleMania next year, I could see Bianca and Rhea being the WrestleMania match for one of the two top titles. If, I guess, Rhea is going to be on SmackDown now as far as other potential opponents for her. I'm curious to see who, if anybody, they call up from NXT. I definitely think that the women's division needs a revamp. It's one of the things that Triple H has really dropped the ball on. He's made positive changes. The women's division, though, right now, as a whole, is just lacking. And they could use some new faces, but it's not just the new faces. A lot of it has to do with the booking. You can call up as many new faces as you want to. If you're not using them properly, it doesn't matter. So how or if he makes changes to the women's division coming out of this weekend, I think is going to be a very big story to follow. As far as SmackDown women that I would like to see Rhea in the ring with, I would think that Rhea and Raquel is probably going to be a program at some point. You know, they're pretty high on Raquel Rodriguez. We could see Rhea and Liv. You know, there's history there with her and Liv Morgan. I could see them going back to Liv challenging for the title. She's not going to win. I think that's a possibility. Probably get Rhea and Ronda at some point. Powerful one. I think the fact that they weren't last helped Rhea and Charlotte. You could tell that they were pissed and had chips on their shoulders like Taker and Batista at WrestleMania 23. Exactly as I said. I agree. Erasmo Solis with the 20. This night was amazing. Made me remember why I fell in love with wrestling. Just wow. Nothing but props to all across the board for everyone involved. The Usos came across as true final bosses for Sami and KO. Deathtronic 78, or Dethronic, I should say. Can somebody explain to me how the guy who raps for the Usos tonight is on SNL if both shows are live? Obviously, his segment on SNL, I didn't even know he was on SNL, but obviously his segment was taped. Grant Johnson, thank you for the analysis. You're very welcome. MH Nova, thoughts on Wale Mania? I have been to Wale Mania once before, and I had fun. I think I went to Wale Mania four or 5 years ago, I think it was. I had fun. You get wrestlers from all the different promotions who end up there. What I remember from the Wale Mania that I went to, we had Dave Meltzer and Bruce Pritchard on stage together. So it had to be before Pritchard came back, so I'm thinking it was probably Orlando, 2017, probably. But I haven't been doing any of the WrestleMania festivities now for a few years, so I don't know how it is now. Paul Hamilton, you are the GOAT as well. Paul, you know I always appreciate your support. Thank you very much for the 150. Zachariah, when the Demon comes out, should he be in Judgment Day colors or should he be the OG Demon red? What say you? I would do it in Judgment Day colors. That's what I would do. Paul, again, thank you for the 100 bomb. For Mr. Coach, Pete Rose. Anderson Blitz, WrestleMania 39 Night 1 was the best WrestleMania since WrestleMania 31 or 35. Yeah, I was at 35. 35 don't make the list. 35 don't make the list, I'm sorry. Got the great Kofi Mania moment, but yeah, no, 35 don't make the list. DEH Sires, you can tell Triple H booked the show with the amount of kickouts that we had. Triple H talked about how they said this is now your WrestleMania, insinuating Vince. Oh, that Vince told him this is now your WrestleMania. Thy name is Doogie. Night 1 of WrestleMania was awesome. And all of the other promotions had a great week. GCW, Impact, Ring of Honor. This is shaping up to be the best WrestleMania week in a long time. 89 Tech, what's your prediction for next year's WrestleMania main event? It's 2:15 in the morning. You're asking me to predict the main event a year from now? I have no idea. I said I think Gunther will be in one of the main events next year. But then again, Roman Reigns has been in the main event how many years in a row now? So it'd be pretty silly of me not to assume that Roman Reigns is not going to be in the main event of WrestleMania next year. But Roman and Gunther, if it's heel against heel, doesn't make sense. I mean, that's a match I would love to see. I just don't know how practical that is. I could see Cody and Seth. If Cody is the champion at that point, I could see Cody and Seth at WrestleMania again, this time for the title. Lars, Okada is backstage blowing up balloons for Roman. Get the balloons ready. Get those balloons ready. Poor Okada. Remember that? I remember that whole angle when he lost the IWGP title years ago. He was so depressed he fell into a funk. He would carry around balloons wherever he went. He lost his mind. Dallas, remember when Cornette and Russo said Owens and Zayn don't belong? Look at them now. Turtlehead, will you be in Philly next year for WrestleMania? That is to be determined. Avili with the super chat. Why WWE did not give the Brothers of Destruction a tag team championship run whenever they reunited like DX and the Hardy Boys? They didn't need them. Undertaker and Kane, they didn't need the tag team belts. They were bigger than that. What did they need the tag team belts for? Slim Yoshi. Tonight reminded me how much I love pro wrestling. I'm never going to forget this night. Hopefully tomorrow is just as good. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to descend into the void, known as sleep. Thank you, Slim Yoshi. He says, hopefully you get enough sleep as well, Solomonster. I won't, but I thank you for the sentiment. DHI, Ray and Dominik was undermined by the Cinemojis. Why do they do the sponsorships for the dark and dramatic matches? Didn't bother me. I mean, I was focused on the match. So, I don't know. It didn't bother me. Very different than the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match, right? That whole match was just ridiculous. Here, it was just a bunch of logos on the posts and the barricades. So, I mean, it was a little weird to see Ray's name on the screen in the Cinnamon Toast Crunch colors and everything. But again, in the big picture, who cares? 27-27 is Phil TK's Ultimate Warrior? No, I think Ultimate Warrior was a far bigger pain in the ass. Yeah, no, not even close. The Rock versus Sting, awesome night one. I actually like Ray going over against Dom. It would make Dominik eventually winning against his father that much sweeter. That's why I mentioned the possibility of a hair versus mask deal at SummerSlam. 27-27 says, look in my eyes, what do I see? A CM Phil apology. Havili says, if FTR returns to WWE, would they keep them as FTR or change them back to the Revival? Seeing as how they own the Revival, it would be the Revival. And I don't think they're going back to WWE. If they think that their boy Punk is going to possibly come back, why would they leave? Doesn't make much sense. It sounds like there's a very distinct possibility, or at least there was before the Instagram stuff, that Punk is going to be coming back. Why would they leave if they think that... and look, they're in touch with Punk, right? They got a pipeline directly to Punk. So if Punk was possibly coming back, you think he's going to tell these guys, hey, you should go to WWE? I would be very surprised if FTR goes anywhere. Omos Phelps had an idea where Lashley takes out Omos and replaces him against Lesnar instead of doing an open challenge. What do you think? You know, they've promoted the match so much, I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to do the bait and switch. Andrew No Love, if you were inducted into the Hall of Fame, who would you have induct you? I would have Paul Hamilton, who dropped $250 on me tonight. I would have him induct me into the Hall of Fame. T-Mac, a lot of Brits at WrestleMania today. Raw is going to be lit. Havili says, if we did not have the pandemic between Kenny Omega, Cody Rhodes, and Adam Page, turn on the Elite in the Blood and Guts match against the Inner Circle. Yeah, the pandemic kind of killed that whole thing. Bobby's World, it's Bobby's World and you're all just living in it, is what I say at the end of my YouTube videos. Well, how about that? There you go. You know what they say about great minds, right? Rizzo with the $4.99. Before I go to bed, I'm one of the few that still watches NXT, and the future is great with Braun, Mello, and even Waller, plus more young talent. Don't sleep on the women's talent. They got a great pipeline of women's talent down there right now. Luis, I went to WrestleMania. Oh, he went to WrestleMania. How about that? He went to WrestleMania. That is such a beautiful stage. Triple H did us an outstanding service, putting Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn against the Usos on last for tonight. I give WrestleMania Part 1 a 9.5 out of 10. Wow. High praise coming from Luis. And finally here, Brandon Vasquez. What a career for Kevin Owens. Debuted beating Cena, feuded with the McMahons. Back-to-back WrestleMania main events against Austin and against the Bloodline with Sami Zayn. He certainly has a lot to be thankful for. We got a couple of late super chats coming in here, so let's make sure we get to our boys. 27 at 27. Better promo based on AEW only. CM Punk or Jericho? CM Punk. And the Data and Boys podcast, plot twist, double turn, Heyman joins Cody. I thought about that with all the Mr. Heyman comments, Mr. Heyman this and Mr. Heyman that. But no, not going to happen. I did think about that, though. And Josiah, thank you for the $5. Very much appreciated. Well, you guys showed up and showed out here tonight with the memberships and the super chats. Almost 2:30 in the morning. I will keep you waiting no longer, and then we'll get back to any final super chats here in a second. But you smashed the goal, and so let's do it. Do a WrestleMania-sized Be the Booker.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to be the Booker.
Thank you very much for the likes, well over 1,100 here on this video. Keep hitting that thumbs up. So that way we can get this video out in the algorithm, out wide to as many people as possible. That is why it is so important. I'm going to kick things off here with the men's Be the Booker. If you are new here, just a little fun feature we do at the end of these streams where I created these animations myself. We do one for the men, one for the women, and one for tag teams. And we see what we can book. If we could do a better job than the pros at booking a card. And we begin here with the FTW champion in AEW, Hook. The undefeated Hook See, Hook is going to be getting into the ring with Dexter Loomis. Two guys who really don't cut promos. That's great. Yeah, that'll go over very well. We have one that's a mute, and we have one that's just about mute, who rarely has anything to say. How am I supposed to promote a match like that? I'm supposed to be the promoter here. You give me two guys who don't speak. I can't sell that. On the women's side, we begin with the TBS champion, another AEW champion, Jade Cargill. Now, this I can sell. This I can sell. Jade is very marketable, which is why they are pushing her so hard. Jade Cargill. One-on-one with Tammy Sitch. Is it going to be a prison yard match? It's going to be a little difficult to book that match. I don't think Tammy is available right now. She's a little tied up for the next 20 years. Not going good, guys. Not going good. Let's pick some tag teams. Begin with the North. Old tag team here from Impact Wrestling. Josh Alexander and Ethan Page. Former Impact Wrestling tag team champions. Josh Alexander, suffering an injury, had to forfeit his Impact World Championship the other day. He's going to be gone for a while. They were from what I saw of them together, they were actually a very good tag team. So I think that's the first time we've picked them here and be the booker. So here we go. Who will the North be facing? Let's get a drum roll going here. The North defending their Impact Tag Team titles against the Rockers. Now there's a match that I can promote. Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty against Ethan Page and Josh Alexander. There's a match that I can sell some tickets with. We had to at least get one. Had to at least get one. At least one match on this WrestleMania stream. I mean, come on. 1 out of 3. I'll take it. 1 out of 3 is better than nothing out of 3. We got Austin Runge with the $5 super chat. It is weird seeing Shawn Michaels reuse his old angles. The barbershop, Roxanne passing out. Now Stratton is imitating Shawn's back from WrestleMania 14. Yeah, she took a pretty bad bump off of the ladder in that match at Stand and Deliver, which I will talk about tomorrow, that show. Or I should say later today, I guess. Sam Dankman-Weed, did WWE drop the ball back in the day by not having a JVC Kaboom Box, Lugs, Stacker 2, 10-10-3-2-1 match? You forgot about Milton Bradley's Karate Fighters. You forgot about them. I forgot about Stacker 2. Now you remind. I did like those old Stacker 2 commercials with Kane. So those were entertaining. 10-10-3-2-1. Oh my God. There was another one, wasn't there? It was 10-10-3-2-1, and then there was another similar service. I forgot what the name of it was. Rizzo, I'm starting to think the Punk stuff is a shoot that turned into a work. Am I nuts for thinking that? The Instagram post happens to drop the week of the AEW All Access debut. No, you're not crazy. I mean, look, some people think it was a work from the start, which is just ridiculous. It started as a shoot. Could it turn into a work? It's always possible. Do I think it is? No, I don't. In Simi Valley, can you see The Rock getting involved in Cody against Roman tomorrow? Yeah, I could see it, but do I expect it to happen? No, I don't. Nick Khan did say they've got surprises lined up for WrestleMania. We got one of them tonight in Pat McAfee. No, I don't think we're gonna get him. I don't think we're gonna get The Rock. And frankly, if it was gonna be The Rock coming in and costing Roman the titles, and that's how Cody wins, I think that's kind of a cheap way for him to win. Right? I mean, and people would go nuts if Rock's music hit and he showed up unexpectedly. But I don't know. I don't think it's happening. I think we could put the Rock stuff to bed, but you know what? Anything's possible. They're in Hollywood. He's the biggest star in Hollywood, right? Or one of them. So anything's possible. The Sting Sprite commercial. Oh my God. That was actually a great commercial. Sting takes the little kid and smashes him face first into the top of the banister. Anyway, we're all caught up on your super chats now. You guys were incredible tonight, so thank you for the support and the love. You make all of this worth it, all the work, all the hours, all the prep, all the nonsense. This is typically the biggest weekend of the year for me and the channel, so we have one more night left to go. We're not done yet. WrestleMania Night 2. I will be back here live with you on YouTube tomorrow night. Do not forget, Sound Off episode 802. Being uploaded to all of your usual podcast platforms and apps. That'll be tomorrow afternoon. Look for that. Make sure that you are subscribed to the feed. And this was a great night one of WrestleMania. One of the best nights of WrestleMania that I have ever seen. And I hope that they can continue that momentum into night two. You look at the Twitter poll one last time. Almost 3,000 votes in. We're still right up there around 94%. Just shy of 94%. 2% thumbs down. So get those votes in as well. Till then, be well. Stay safe. Thank you again. And we'll be back here to do it over again for night 2 of WrestleMania tomorrow night. Thank you, guys.